Shalom. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham Okakodash, and double honors to the apostles of JMS and the bishops, the elders, and all the sincere brethren that are laboring the truth that across the world, and to all the sincere brethren and sisters that are listening to the truth. And I pray this may be another edifying lesson to the flocks, and whoever the Most High want to hear this message, and let it be heard. And before we begin the lesson, I will introduce the true name of the Father, which is Yahweh. And the name is mean He exists. And the true name of the Son is Yahushua HaMashiach, which means the Redeemer or the Deliverer. And it's only coming to redeem His people, which is the nation of Israel. And in today's age, you would identify them as the so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and the so-called Native Americans, which scatter in all four corners of the world and looks like they're the nations and also practice the custom of the other nations. And with that, that'll be for introductions. And the title of the lesson for the day is basically still reading Matthew chapter 25, and today we're gonna be reading let me see. We're gonna read from 14 and hopefully we go to 26. So this one will be about parable of the talents or parable of the three servants. So yesterday we did the recap for yesterday is be like the 10 virgins, 5 that have the oil, 5 that was wise, and 5 that was foolish. So today we're gonna read about the parable of the servants, 3 servants. So let's begin the lesson starting now. And we go on. Okay, yep, starting now. For Matthew 25 and 14. Again, the kingdom of heaven can be illustrated by the story of a man going on a long trip. He called together his servants and entrusted his money to them while he was gone. So basically, Yahushua once again say, "Look, he's gonna illustrate the kingdom of heaven like a man going on a long trip, like that's gonna travel to like a faraway place, like a country. It's like you live in." I live in Babylon the Great right now, and I'm going to a country that's like far, far away, which is like England, because England and America is not close at all. It's not like Canada is like right next to you, or Mexico is right next to you. England is another across the world, basically the other side of the pond. He called together his servants, so basically that man calls his servants, all the people that work for him, that he and entrusting his money to them while he was gone. So basically, he give them charge over his money. He gave 5 bags of silver to one. So he gave 5 bags of silver. Well, I don't know how much that would be today. Let's just say he give like a. Let me just finish reading that part basically. Two bags of silver to another. So he gave another 2 bags of silver, and 1 bag of silver to the last. He gave 1 bag of silver to the last, dividing it in proportion to their abilities. He then left on his trip. So basically, he gave each of those men the portion based of their abilities. So the one that he gave 5 bag of silver will be, let's just say, the man is a wealthy man. So let's just say he gave one person ability to hold $5 million, and the other he gave $2 million, and the last one he gave $1 million basically, or less than that, $100,000, however it is. And he basically said like he dividing in proportion to their abilities. So basically, he gave it to based of their skill set or skill level. So the one that he gave more has more responsibility because he's more qualified for that kind of positions. And the second one, was the second best option. The third one was like the third best option basically. He then left on his trip. After that, he took off. He goes to that country that he was going to. The servant who received the 5 bags of silver began to invest the money and earn 5 more. So basically, the servant that he gave the 5 bag of silver, which is like a $5 million, he began to invest that money, and he ended up earning 5 more. So basically, those like basically talent. You also find that story. You also find that story in the Luke chapter 19. Parable of I mean the talent basically, yeah. So basically, the person that have the 5 bag of silver go out, invest it, and bring 5 more. And the servant with 2 bag of silvers also went to work and earned 2 more. So basically, the same thing. And likewise, the servant that got the 2 bag of silvers also go out and invest that money, and he earned an extra $2 more, man. But the servant who received the one bag of silver dug a hole in the ground and hid the master's money. However, the person that got the one bag of talent, instead of going out and invest that one bag of silver and to get an extra one, he took that talent and he hid it. He dig up a hole and hide that had the money. And it say verse 19 say after a long time the master returned. So basically after a long time from that trip, the master probably went on a business trip and he come back. So from 16 we heard the 5 times. Basically those are basically you can say like those are gifts, like the Most High give each one of us a gift. Certain men have like a like a 50 talent. Some of us have 20. Some of us have 2. Some of us have 5. However long gift the Most I gave you. So verse 19 say, after a long time the master returned. After a while the master of the house come back from his trips and called them to give an account of how they had used his money. So when he come back, so he come back. He come back to the when he comes back from his long trips. So the first thing he did, he called up. He called the servants to give them an account of their work. Basically like a report. Like when your parents give you assignments to do. He said, hey, I'm gonna give you each and every I'm gonna give each and every one of you an assignment to do. The elder is gonna have the most assignment because he's the one that's gonna be responsible, and go and so on to the next. So that's what so when your parents come back, it was like, hey son, I want you to give me a report of everything that happened throughout the house, all the assignment. I want to know if they were done. So after a long time, the master returned from this trip and called them to give an account. So basically, he asked them, hey, give me an account of everything you have done with that money that I gave you. So the servant to whom he had instructed the 5 bags of silver came forward with 5 more and said, Master, you gave me 5 bags of silver to invest, and I earned 5 more. So basically, the first servant, the one that he gave 5 talents, so he said, come forward. And he said, Master, you have given me 5 bags of silver, and I went out and bring 5 more. And the master was full of pride. So basically, the master was happy. So he was happy that servant did all that good work. And he says, well done, my good and faithful servant. He said, well done, my good and faithful servant. You can't explain it any other way. He said, good job, my servant. My faithful and loyal servant. Great job. You have been faithful in handling this small amount. He said, you have been faithful of handling this small amount. 5 bags of silver is a small amount. And he was faithful. He go out and do the work and invest it. So now I will give you many more responsibilities. So basically the master said, because you have did great work with small amount of that I give you, now I will increase your responsibilities because you have become reliable. Let's celebrate together. So the master said, we're gonna celebrate together. 22. The servant who had received the 2 bags of silver came forward and said, Master, you gave me 2 bags of silver to invest, and I have earned 2 more. So likewise the second servant, which was received 2 bags of silver, he said, Master, you have given me 2 bags of silver, and I went out and I invested, and I got 2 more talents. 2 more silvers. And the master said, once again, the master was very happy. He said, well done, my good and faithful servant. And the master gave him the same response. Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have been faithful in handling this small amount. So he said, you have been faithful handling this small amount. So now I will give you many more responsibility. Like the first one, he said, I'm gonna give you more responsibility. Let's celebrate. And then the servant with the 1 bag of silver came and said, Master, I knew you were a harsh man, harvesting crops you didn't plant and gathering crops you didn't cultivate. So basically the third servant came. He's like, oh, look, man, master, I know you're a harsh man, and in harvesting crops you didn't plant and gathering crops you didn't cultivate. Then the servant with the 1 bag of silver came and said, Master, I knew you were a harsh man. So basically the one that came with the 1 silver, he didn't do anything. Instead of telling the master, what instead of being honest, he's like, look, man, I knew you were the harsh man. Instead of going out and invest your money, I didn't want to lose it. So instead, I hit it on the ground. Because he said I was afraid I would lose your money. Because he was being wicked. He was like, look, instead of going out and investing and lose your money, he said, I hid it on the earth. So basically, I hid it under the ground. Look here, here's your money back. He said, here's your money back. And the master said, but the master replied, you wicked and lazy servant. If you knew I harvest crops I didn't plant and gather crops I didn't cultivate, why didn't you deposit my money in the bank? So the master said, you are a wicked and lazy servant. And see, if you knew I harvest crops I didn't plant and gather crops I didn't cultivate, why didn't you deposit my money in the bank? He said, why didn't you take that money that I gave you and put it in the bank? At least I could have got some interest on it. If you did that, I would have got an interest on it. Then he ordered, take the money from this servant and give it to the one with the 10 bag of silver. And he ordered them to take that money from him and give to the one that have 10 bag of silver, which was the first guy. What was I again? Do to those who use well what they are giving, even more will be given. So basically, the master said, to those who have who use well what they were giving, more gonna give more, even more gonna be given unto them, and they will have an abundance. They're gonna have an abundance. But from those who do nothing, even what little they have will be taken away. So basically, those who have done nothing with what the Lord they have given them, that even little piece is gonna be that's gonna be taken away from them. Now, throw this useless servant into outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So he said, like, take that useless servant and toss him out of the darkness, where they're gonna be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So basically, what that parable is talking about is is basically talent. The Heavenly Father Yahweh Shai giving us basically giving us let me get that. What was I again? It's giving us talents. So basically, like we can look at it from the apostles' perspective. Some have 60, some have 50, some have 10, some have 1. So whatever talent the Most High gave you, you have to put it into good work. Like the servant that received 5 talents, and the master said, "Go out." That talent, it could be like you reach out to like a small group of population. Like you got some brothers, man. Like brothers, like basically we can start with the apostles, man. Like a lot of it, they have like a mass. I don't want to say massive followers, but a lot of those brothers that wake up on the highways and byways, we learn the truth from the apostles, and I respect the elders that we grew up or whatever city or towns that we are in. Then you got some brothers, man. They go out on the highways on a daily basis, man, and when they buy on a weekly basis, man. But when they buy themselves, they make shows after shows on a daily basis, and they get no views. Nobody knows about them. However, they still put in the work out every day in and day out. And there's brothers, man. As soon as they went live, they instantly got people watching them, man. So that is also what Yahushua was saying is, whatever talent that you have to put it in work. You can't be like, well, I live in that town. There's already 5 or 10 brothers that's already doing the work. I don't need to do my work. So you know what's gonna happen? Yahushua make it very clear. If you have a talent and you don't put it to use, guess what? He's gonna strip that little talent that you have and give it to somebody that's already have. So those of us that whatever talent that the Most High gave you, whether it's one talent, man, you have to go out and put that talent to work. Don't be like, I don't know anything about the truth. Like me personally, I will use myself as an example. I'm not as scripturally inclined as those brothers that are above me, starting with the apostles, and even my elders that I go to camp with on a weekly basis. But that little talent that the Most High gave me, I pray that I go out on a daily basis, keep doing those shows, even if I have to repeat the same thing over and over again, man. You just have to keep putting that talent to work on a daily basis, man. And Yahushua say himself, what little that you have, man, if you put it to work, whatever talent he gave you, man, if you put it to work, he's gonna increase you. He's gonna give you even more responsibilities, man. So basically, the more of the story is, don't hide your talent. If you hide your talent, he's gonna strip it away from you and give it to somebody else, man. even though even though the truth has always been repetitive, the average people say, oh, you guys been talking about the same thing over and over. Look, our job is not to listen to what the masses said, it's to do the will of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashmi Shai. That's the only thing that's important to us, man. So the talent that the Most High give it to you, man, whether it's 5, 10, 50, 100, don't look at it like, oh man, this brother have 100 talent and I got one talent. What do I need to do that work for? Go out and do the work, man. That one talent may not be like a big deal to you. It looks like minuscule to you, but the Heavenly Father wouldn't give you anything that He know that you wouldn't be able to handle. Everybody's talent is important. Whether it's from one talent to 100 talent, all talents are important. And we've seen that there are men who looks like they have a lot of talent, and even then, and when they get proud and arrogant, it's like the Most High strip it away and give it to a brother that once have a one talent or barely noticeable, man, and instantly the Most High raise that brother to the height of the talent. So don't go around hide your talent, man. So whatever talent the Most High give it to you, put that talent to use, man. Because if you don't put it to use, man, the Most High gonna take it and strip it out and give it to another brother, man. So more of the story is don't hide your talent. And that's it for the lesson. I put out another edifying lesson to the flocks. And whatever the Most High want to do this message and let it be heard. And with that, I like to say, Shalom. What was that? Yep, that's it. What was that? Yep, that's it.